Hi lovelies! Welcome or welcome back to our channel.
In today's tutorial, we're going to teach you how to Dutch braid.
Dutch braiding is really similar to French braiding because instead of going over the middle section, you're going under the middle section. So if you seem to struggle a lot with Dutch braiding, I'd recommend you go check out our French braiding tutorial, which is linked in the description or up in the information bar. And you might have more luck with French braiding. To do a Dutch braid, you will need a comb, some hair elastics, either little ones if the person's hair gets really thin at the ends, or regular hair ties if you want to tie off the hair into a ponytail, or if the person's hair stays thick all the way down. Or if you want, you can use a couple bobby pins when you're done to pin off any sections of the hair that are loose. So I'm going to start by taking a comb and continuing from our part line and parting down the back of her head. And tying off the side that I'm not going to use at first. So now I have all this hair on the right side of her head, and this is all the hair that's going to go into our first Dutch braid. I'm going to start by picking up a small section of hair at the top of her head. The smaller size section you pick up, the closer to the front of her head the braid will start. So if all your Dutch braids are starting back here and you want them to start really close, try picking up a smaller section. I'm going to pick up a small section and I'm going to divide it into 3 pieces. I'm going to rotate my hand backwards because we will be braiding back this way. And now I have my 3 sections that are all being held in my left hand. I'm going to take this first outside section and cross it under the middle one. And now I'm going to take my left section and cross it under my new middle one. Now the next section is going to be this right one, so I'm going to move all the pieces to my left hand, and now we're going to start adding hair. I'm going to pick up a small piece on the right side of her head because we're adding to the right section, pick it up and add it to my right section, and now I have my 3 sections again, and I'm going to take the right one and cross it under the middle. And now I'm doing the same thing again. I'm moving all the pieces to my right hand. The left one's next to cross under, so I'm going to pick up a piece of hair from the left side, add it into the left section, and now I have my 3 sections and I will cross the left one under the middle. I'm going to keep doing this all the way down her head. When you're trying to figure out what size sections to pick up to add to the braid, when I'm first starting, I try to add sections that are comparable to the size that I'm already braiding with. So this one, I'm going to try to pick up a size that's pretty close to what this already is. As you work down her head and you're taking the pieces farther into the braid, you want to make sure that you're not just picking up a small section here and pulling it all the way back. You want to take a good scoop. You want to put your finger in and scoop all the hair all the way back and then add it in. If you're having trouble keeping your Dutch braids nice and tight, if they keep getting really loose, I'd recommend to try holding the hair a lot closer to where you're actually braiding. Because if you're holding the hair all the way back here and you're trying to braid, you can already see it's going to fall and it's going to be very loose. So you want to move your hand up a lot closer and put it almost right on top of the point where you're braiding. Once you're on this part of the head, you'll also want to start adding much bigger sections of hair because the sections you're braiding with are much bigger. And if you were adding tiny sections, you'd still be pulling hair from up here and it would look really weird. This is the part where it can also get a lot harder to hold the hair because you're holding a lot more hair than you were at the beginning. So don't tense your hand up, don't squeeze the hair really hard. Keep your hand gentle, but try to hold the hair firmly. Now that you have all of her hair actually in a strand of the braid, there's none just hanging down, you can either tie it off right here and make it a Dutch braid into a ponytail, or you can keep braiding all the way down and put a small elastic at the end. Once you've completed and tied off your braid, you can then go back, and any parts that are loose and you want to fix, you can add a bobby pin to. So this section is often where hair gets looser. I'm gonna pull some of that hair up and pin it down close to the braid. And now you're ready to move on to the other side. So now that we're finished with the right side, I've gone ahead and taken the left side out of the ponytail, and we're gonna do the same exact thing on this side. It will feel a little different just because you've switched sides. So what hand was reaching down here is now reaching up here. So it's quite normal if one side feels easier than the other. Once again, we're taking a small section and splitting it into 3. And we're gonna go left under, right under, move everything over, pick up a section about the size of the strand already, add it in, You want to make sure that as you're adding the hair in, it's coming from an equal part on the head to where you are at the braid. I'm right here at the braid, so I'm going to go down to this part on her head and pull that hair in. And this will give the braid that uniform look of all the hair coming into the braid. Whereas if I were here, and I was pulling hair from up here, all the way back here, the braid would look kind of strange. So once you've kind of gone over the crown of her head, we're at the part where you're once again going to start adding those bigger sections again. Now with her hair being so short, when I get to the bottom of the braid here, I don't have much more room to braid, and the hair starts really popping out of the braids because it's so short. So for her hair, basically as soon as I get all the hair in the braid, I'm going to go ahead and tie it off. And she'll have these cute little ponytails down here. And there are your Dutch braids.
Thank you so much for watching. And don't forget to come back next Friday to see another hairstyle that uses the Dutch braid.
Bye!